Hello and welcome to tonight's weather video. We're going to talk about some weather that's going to be moving through tomorrow, and as well as the really cold temperatures, frigid temperatures we had this morning. We did have clear skies to start, but by late morning, we already had some of this cirrus and jet chunk kind of moving in a little bit, but I still managed to get some time outside and get to the pines for a little bit. And yeah, we did have some blue skies. There was some scattered jet chunk out there. Tried to get as much blue sky as I could out there. You can see already a little bit of it showing up even in this picture. And then see here again. There's some pretty cirrus mixed in the mix as well. Lake's frozen over. Southard's Lake iced up, and Argyle also had some ice on it as well. And this was the high overcast that we had coming in a little bit later. Still some water, but definitely a lot of ice out there as it gets getting colder. So it was absolutely frigid this morning. And we're going to talk about first going over the statistics for ice slip. A high of only 31 today, a low of 21. And that's 13 degrees below normal for the day, 15 degrees below normal on the high. However, in other areas it was much, much colder than that. And if we go and we look right now at our low temperatures, you'll see that West Hampton got down to 9 degrees. And while ice slip was 21, it all depended on who got radiational cooling. Shirley got down to 14. And a lot of areas got down to the teens. Ice slip did not, but a lot of other areas had radiational cooling, including Levittown. We saw lows of 15, 18 at Farmingdale. Of course, my alley only got down to 27. So yeah, even let's see what the top of Stony Brook got down to. They made it down to. I don't see them here. It looks like they even got down to 19. That alley just holds in the heat. Warmer than even the city, because Central Park got down to 19 as well. So a lot of areas got down to the teens last night, and again, single digits in the Pine Barrens because of that radiational cooling. Let's see how. Wow. Well, it looks like our Gabreski Airport was beat by Miller Air Park in the Pine Barrens west of Toms River, where it got down to 7 degrees. How about 7 degrees? Wow, that is unbelievably cold. So really cold. They got some good radiational cooling there because the cirrus thinned out. We had a high overcast and a mid overcast yesterday. Yesterday was pretty overcast, actually. As far as highs today, they did make it above freezing. It looks like upper 30s, though these are the current temperatures that are the highs, because the temperatures have been rising all day. So it looks like 39 at ice slip now. But these are the current temperatures. They see 39. The temperatures are rising now that we've got a southwest wind. The dew point is all the way up to 28, and that's a big change from what we had earlier. Throughout much of the day, we had light winds and dew points still very low. Again, temperatures below freezing much of the day, and they didn't start going above freezing until this evening, as we're seeing that warm air advection come in. And very impressive, though, that low of 7. Oh, yeah. It's unbelievable. 7 degrees at Miller Air Park this morning. That's quite something. So you could see, show you what it was like this morning, and you could see where that radiational cooling really kicked in when the winds went calm. The temperatures really dropped like a rock from the teens down to 7 degrees, and that low was right around 7:25 in the morning. So maybe a little bit after sunrise, which is pretty interesting. And I guess West Hampton is probably similar. We'll look at West Hampton as well. But really, and now it's up to 41. So the temperatures are rising tonight with that warm air advection coming in. You can see again those lows, those temperatures this morning at West Hampton. There you go. There's the single digits right there for you. So yeah, very, very cold. I would have loved to have been there at that time. Anyway, we have increasing moisture. We have changes in the weather coming, and we have the south wind. And you see there's also a gale warning in effect from 6 p.m. this evening until 6 a.m. Wednesday, because the winds are picking up. You've noticed that. And we do have winter weather up to the north and the west. We're not going to see any of that from here. And that looks like a blizzard warning in some of the Appalachian Mountain areas of Virginia, it's the Allegheny Mountains, Virginia, stretching into maybe parts of West Virginia, perhaps. Yeah, right on the border there. So they're going to get some wintry weather, but we're going to be getting mostly wet weather from this. So we look at the radar. You'll see this is the next system that we have coming our way. See winter weather here. It's rain to the south. Looking at the weather map, you'll see here it is. This is the next system that will bring us a chance for some showers tomorrow evening. Looking at the larger view, you can see again, here's that system coming in. That's where we're seeing the cirrus from today. So let's go and look at the models and take a look. And yesterday obviously was frustrating because we were just stuck in the clouds all day. But if you were up in this area here in Maine and Vermont and northern New York, you had a crystal clear, bitterly cold day. And it must have been absolutely beautiful over there. But we were stuck in the clouds, unfortunately. So such is the case. So let's look at the models. We'll take a look and see what's going to be happening for the rest of this week as we deal with, well, we'll cover through most of this week through Friday, I guess. So that high moves offshore. We have this low-pressure clipper system coming in, bringing us some shower activity tomorrow evening. It won't really amount to much. And then Thursday, here comes the cold air again. You notice those tight isobars. There could be wind, especially on Thursday, that we'll have to watch. It'll be pretty blustery. And then as you get toward Friday, we see that wind relax, but there's another system kind of coming in that's probably going to may throw some more clouds our way later on. But there is cold air behind that. You can see the way the isobars are here, directed right out of Canada. So the more cold air, more Arctic air is coming, even though we're getting a little bit of a break for the next 24 hours or so. So let's look at the shorter range models here. And we'll show you the dew points and wind flow first to show you what's going to be happening. So see that milder air coming in, southwest winds tomorrow. We don't see a tremendous amount of moisture, but there's some with this, and that'll be able to bring some rain in for tomorrow night. Won't be a whole lot. And then here comes that Arctic air coming back into the picture on Thursday. Here we go, northwest winds again. Dew points dropping pretty low, so single digits, and maybe below zero. Dew points won't be quite as cold as it was yesterday and today. And as far as tonight, temperatures probably keep rising or staying steady. And then tomorrow, we'll get into the 40s, mid to upper 40s. Be mild. That's the only day we're going to be mild because once this front comes back through again, the temperatures drop to freezing by morning. And then much of Thursday, we're only in the mid-30s, struggling to mid-30s. So it's going to be pretty cold again, though not quite as cold as it was, though. However, it may feel colder because we're going to have more wind involved with this. As far as the moisture with this system goes, we'll just pull this out here. Show you the European here for a minute. Let's pull this out to the eastern U.S. just to show you the moisture with this system. It's not terribly impressive. Here it is. So there are some darker greens that come through. There's no tropical connection with this, so there really won't be all that much rain from this, but we'll go to the HRRR. We'll take a look and see what the HRRR is generating as far as rainfall goes for tomorrow. And you can see here that rain is going to move in probably, and it's not really going to be that heavy, probably in the evening, say 5, 6 o'clock. There it is. And it's not really that heavy. It's just going to be maybe last an hour or two, and that's it. And it's really not really going to amount to very much rain. Total accumulated precip from this. Yeah, you'll be lucky to see. You won't even see a quarter of an inch. Some people might see maybe closer to 0.15 or 0.2 inches. But it's not really going to be all that much. It seems like maybe a little more to the north and east, less to the south. So not really, very, very moisture starved. Not really going to see a whole lot of precipitation from this. It's mainly a dry frontal passage, except for that band of showers that pops up. So let's see if some of the other models are being a little more aggressive with this front at all. I mean, the NAM certainly doesn't look like it. So let's see how the NAM handles it. So here again, here's that area of rain, and it's not really very heavy. NAM's a little slower, has it more towards 7 or 8 o'clock. But other than that, it's very light, and it only lasts a couple of hours. So it really won't really last all that long. And then it's out of here. And then we deal with the blustery conditions. Might even be a stray snow shower later on Thursday that maybe makes it over, perhaps. We'll have to see about that. But there will be quite blustery conditions behind this front. So let's go and we'll go back to the European and do the HDRPS and see what it has for tomorrow's front too. I'm kind of curious as well. I don't have the 0Z run, but let's see what this is generating here. I mean, it's all very light. There won't be any thunderstorm activity or anything like just an area of light rain sometime in the evening hours, and it won't last very long, an hour or two at most. And it should be out of here, so hopefully it doesn't linger around and cause too many problems. So let's go to the European. We'll just show you the weather as we get toward past Thursday into Friday here. So here's Thursday. You can see that cold air, and then Friday we're still in it. So we're still in that cold air. And I know there's a storm for the weekend. It's too early to tell what's going to happen with that. But with the cold air in place, more likely we would see snowfall for that. But I'm not going to go over that in this video. I'll do that in the next one, Thursday night probably. So, and with the wind, I don't know if we're going to see radiational cooling at night. But we are seeing well below normal temperatures again. Here's Friday. Still struggling to get to the mid-30s. So let's go to the RGM here, and we'll go ahead and look at sky cover on several models here. Obviously, tomorrow there will be plenty of clouds. There will be some breaks in the morning, perhaps, but more clouds. They thicken up ahead of that cold front, and then the front comes through, and then we clear out later on for Thursday, and then Thursday, it could be a mostly sunny day. We'll have to watch and see if there's going to be a lot of stratocumulus development. This model is saying there won't be, but this model always has a tendency to underestimate how much of that stuff always winds up developing. So we'll go to the NAM next. Here's the NAM, and as far as the cloud cover for Thursday goes, NAM showing some clouds in the morning, but again, not showing too much in the way of cloud cover. But again, there could be a lot of instability cloudiness that this isn't picking up on. FV3, I don't know if that's going to go far enough. All right, FV3 sort of does. So you can see that instability cloudiness I'm talking about here popping up on this one. So it's very possible that could be an issue. HRRR, we can go back to this and look at a sounding for Thursday. Here's midday. Let's pick right over here. And, all right, it doesn't look terrible. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get some sunshine that day. It looks like there's more acute development maybe over Jersey. So it all depends on how these lake effect things set up or not. That's the question. That's 17Z, but if we go to 16Z, it might look completely different. So, yeah, see a little closer together there. So it all depends on. And if we go to 18Z, yeah, they're touching. So this one, I mean, there may be some stratocumulus clouds with that kind of setup there with those lines. We'll have to see with that. And as far as Friday goes, it's kind of too far out to really accurately forecast the sky. Some models are saying it might be clear on Friday, but we have those clouds from the next system that we'd have to watch. So too early to say on that. Let's now take a look at the wind situation. We first go to Ventu Sky, and we'll go ahead and look at the winds. Obviously, they've picked up, and you see here we've got some windy conditions, and that's why there's a gale warning in effect for our offshore waters. And for tomorrow, you could see some pretty strong southwesterly winds as well. It will be breezy tomorrow throughout the day. You can see, actually, wow, look at this. So it does pick up a little bit along the water here, possibly into the mid-40s with wind gusts. So this is going to have to be watched and seeing. I don't think a wind advisory would be needed because I don't see it penetrating too far inland. But at the coast, that's where there's a gale warning in effect, and you can clearly see that. The reason why there's a gale warning in effect through tomorrow. And then as we get into Wednesday, you can see that wind starts shifting, and then we'll have the pressure gradient to deal with. So let's see what happens on Thursday here with the pressure gradient, seeing if we see anything crazy here. Over the east end, maybe. I don't really see anything. It's close, but I think we're just going to fall under the criteria for a wind advisory. But perhaps on the Forks, one would be needed. And it does tend to get worse later on with the pressure gradient here. Look at these gusts over here. Now, this is not Long Island, but I would expect there's definitely going to be a wind advisory in southeast Massachusetts. And as we get later on, it seems like the wind starts picking up a little more in this area. So offshore, there's a big pressure gradient, but it's mainly offshore, and we don't really see that big pressure gradient. So let's go to the windy model. That was the HRRR that we were looking at there. Let's go to the windy model, and we will see how that looks. So first we start with tomorrow, and there's definitely some wind out there, and there's going to be some coastal impacts. Yeah, there's going to be, definitely at the coast, it's going to be pretty rough. If you're at the beach along the South Shore, we do have gusts up to close 40 miles an hour, so it's going to be windy tomorrow for sure. And then as we get into, because this front, there's a pressure gradient, and then here we go into Thursday. This is where the winds pick up a little more. We see gusts possibly over 40 miles an hour. So it's close to needing a wind advisory, but just a little bit under the necessary thing. But with this wind, obviously, staying through Friday night, you can see here, there will not be any radiation or cooling any of those nights. And as far as clouds go, we can look at this. You can see there's already clouds arriving from the next system on Friday. Now, as far as Thursday, I should say, Thursday, we have to watch for some stratocumulus, so maybe patchy on and off stratocumulus. We'll have to see as get closer, but I'm thinking there will be a lot. It probably won't be a clear day. I mean, today really wasn't clear, but it was the sunniest day we've had in a while. Unfortunately, like I said, there was a lot of jet junk that started popping up around 10:30, 11 o'clock. Well, more short after 11, but still, it didn't really give you a whole lot of time to get clear skies. And if we didn't have the jet junk, it would have been clear probably till around 1. But unfortunately, that damn jet junk, always a problem with that. We got to do something about that, but that's another time, another place. So that's going to wrap up this weather video. We'll be back Thursday night talking about the weekend and more Arctic air and possible snowfall in our forecast. Have a good night.